Quincy Jones was once forced to apologize after making some rather wild comments about Michael Jackson, President John F. Kennedy, and several Hollywood stars. The American music producer and entertainment powerhouse, whose death at the age of 91 was announced on Monday morning, raised a few eyebrows at the start of 2018 when he let loose in a couple of interviews. His claims about stars like Marlon Brando, Richard Pryor, and the Beatles even prompted his children to stage a family intervention. In two separate interviews with GQ and Vulture, Jones told journalists he knew who had killed the 35th President JFK, alleged Brando had sex with Pryor, Marvin Gaye, and James Baldwin, and claimed to have once dated Ivanka Trump. He also alleged Jackson, who died in 2009, stole many of his famous songs. Shortly after the interviews, Jones issued a lengthy statement on social media and revealed his 6 daughters had stepped in and staged an intervention in the wake of his bombshell claims. In a lengthy post on Twitter, X, Jones wrote in February 2018, "I am an imperfect human and I'm not afraid to say it. And I'm sorry and I'm not afraid to say it. When you've been fortunate enough to have lived such a long and crazy life, and you've recently stopped drinking 3 years ago, certain details about specific events, which do not paint the full picture of my intentions nor experiences, come flooding back all at once, and even at 85, it's apparent that word vomit and bad-mouthing is inexcusable." He continued, "One of the hardest things about this situation is that this bad-mouthing had contradicted the very real messages I tried to relay about racism, inequality, homophobia, poverty, you name it. And, of course, I don't want that. I have already reached out to my friends privately, but when you live a public life, you have a responsibility to be an example, and since I do lead a public life, I wanted to make a public apology." Jones added an apology for anyone he offended thanks to his comments, particularly his friends, who he described as like blood family to me. Jones also thanked them as pals for calling me out when I've clearly made many mistakes. Even though sometimes it's difficult to receive criticism or discipline, especially publicly, I want you to know I hear you. I hear all of you, and I thank you. He signed off his apology. Love, an 85-year-old bow-legged man who is still learning from his mistakes. The legendary record producer and songwriter's death was announced on Monday morning. Renowned for his work with music legends such as Michael Jackson, Frank Sinatra, and Ray Charles, Jones' death was announced by his publicist Arnold Robinson, who confirmed that he passed away peacefully on Sunday night at his home in Bel Air. At the time of his passing, Jones was surrounded by his loving family. The heartfelt statement from his family said, "Tonight, with full but broken hearts, we must share the news of our father and brother Quincy Jones' passing. And although this is an incredible loss for our family, we celebrate the great life that he lived and know there will never be another like him.